next order of business is the minutes. I've got the regular minutes from Wednesday, January 11th, sorry.
I had a correction under appointments. The last sentence was also suggested that it might be nice to try to inform the island residents. Residents in this case would be with a TS versus residents being a whole. That's the only thing that jumped out at me.
You got it.
Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We've got a non-public for the 23rd.
No, for the 11th.
I don't have it.
The 11th, I'm sorry. It was a
One single sheet.
single sheet.
That's it.
Oh, you know why? I'm looking at where it says approved. Right there. We haven't approved it yet.
Right.
I'd make a motion to approve as written.
Second.
Any more discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Next order of business, we're gonna go into a non-public RSA 91A:3, Roman numeral 2, parentheses A, personnel. I'll be yes.
Murray, yes.
Pike, yes.
Okay.
Keep the minutes of this non-public sealed.
Okay.
Aye.
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 Sorry.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next
Second
on
for the
board
record.
is, I'm sorry?
I'll second for the record.
Bob seconded. Is Adam here or is he out fighting fires?
He's not due here until 4:30, so
Okay, so let's do some.
I-
Go right through out of this.
I was told the first one needed an hour, so
An hour?
it's what
We never have hour.
that's what they said.
Hour? Jesus. Alright. I'm gonna do the signature file.
I can call the 5:45. She said she'd need 20 minutes to get here.
Holler.
Mary Hunter?
Yep.
She needs, how long does she need?
She said she's only 8 minutes away, but with the weather, she might need 20 minutes.
Oh, yes.
She's on the road.
Okay, the first item in the signature file is a land use change bill. And it's 260 Government with Highway. And got 2 acres subject to the land use change. And
Is that something going into,
now it's coming out.
coming out?
And I think. So they have a total number of acres originally enrolled as 35. Total number of acres previously released since the original recording was 19.78. Number of acres subject to the land use change per assessment is 2.0. So the number of acres remaining in current use will be 14.2. So it's land coming out.
Sounds like somebody's carving out a house lot.
Yeah.
I actually think it's a garage, but
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. One 2323.
2, 3, 2, 3. That yellow sticky was on it.
The next is a land use change. Where 2.18 acres is coming out out of current use. This is on Phineas Graves Road.
Motion sale.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
abatement request for the same lot, actually 11 Phineas Graves Road. The previous assessment was $218,130, and the new assessment is $145,030 for an assessment abated of $73,100. And I don't know if any of you read this, but it's the building condition.
I did, and yeah, I'm real familiar with it.
So, it's recommended to be granted. I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Okay. The second is, oh, a request for abatement from 180 Mountain Road, and so this property was adjusted because of a neighboring junkyard, and even after the reevaluation, that adjustment stayed in place. So the assessor has recommended that we do not grant this abatement, which would reduce the value further. I don't know where it says what it would reduce it by. Oh, a 15% reduction. So,
One more time, please.
okay, the, the property in question had had an abatement, previously due to the fact that it was bordering a junkyard. The junkyard's been removed, but the adjustment to the value of this property has remained. So the current assessment on this property is $510,200. It should be, without the junkyard, $563,100. So they're asking for a further reduction from $510,000, and the assessor's recommending that we deny this abatement,
So why are they asking for a further reduction?
because nobody likes to pay taxes. I
I
can
need more than
read,
that. I don't like to pay taxes either.
I can read you their
I mean, if you can justify it.
Okay. Property assessment does not take into account an addition of a motocross racetrack in our neighborhood. Assessor did not take into account the racetrack for all properties located within this hearing range of the track. Wants it, not only does he want an abatement, he wants it retroactive. Yeah, this is all based upon the racetrack.
Point of order.
I'm sorry?
Point of order?
So, I'm sorry, he wants a 15% reduction
Yes,
to
That's,
433,000.
my point of order is a question.
Okay.
Should I recuse
just wanted to
myself
finish
from
what I
this?
was doing, but go ahead. yeah.
Should I recuse myself from signing this,
Um,
since it has to do with the Annex 171?
I don't think so.
no, this is about a tax abatement.
Okay,
The person's reasoning isn't a question here. You know, maybe he can make all the arguments he wants about the racetrack, but our assessor has determined that he's already gotten one abatement for the junkyard, which has been removed, and now he wants an additional 15%
okay.
off for whatever other reasons there are.
Well, I would make a motion that we accept the assessor's recommendation and deny the abatement.
I'll second.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, just for the record,
Sure.
I think that the reasoning is inconsistent with our action on the alleged racetrack. So I support the motion.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
And you got a closeout certification and documentation from the Community Development Finance Authority. Oh, I'm sorry, Jesus. Thank you. This is on the CDBG grant for the water system. And it's just stating that we're in compliance with the granting authority and the and that all of these, the goals contracted and requirements of the subject grant have actually been accomplished. This requires one signature.
I'll make a motion to have the chairman sign.
I'll second.
Okay, I guess I have to sign twice. I'm the designated CEO.
Right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And so that's 1, 23, 23. Here. Okay, the next is a notice of appointment for a boat permit agent for Lanes End.
Yeah, you signed one last week for David Ladd, but they really want it to be Lane's End so that Teresa could do it, or David could do it, or,
And this is okay with the town clerk?
yes.
Okay, so this is to change, so we'll revoke David Ladd's permit, and this is gonna be in the designee name of Lanes End
So
Incorporated.
moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
So make sure, Cammy, that you tell David his permit's been rescinded. I'll make it happen.
That's the hard copy of Lakes Region Computers contract that,
Oh, okay, so this is,
Yep. think there's
SOW
two.
and all of that stuff. This is what we discussed with Lakes Region Computer last.
Yep. Yep.
Did you look at it?
This is the official contract.
Right.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna make a motion that we sign it,
Second.
and it only requires one signature. All those in favor?
Aye.
So you've got some claims in here.
I'm gonna run and call Mary.
We're having a meeting next week with Teletechniques.
Right, that's on Tuesday, is it, or
Monday.
Monday, is it Monday?
Excuse me. Yes. If you'd like to be part of it.
Does it require me?
No.
Who's the we?
Anybody who wishes to have input
This is on the telephone
is on the
system?
telephone system, yeah.
I'm not.
I can certainly handle it. I've done it.
Didn't we voted on accepting the proposal?
Yes.
Yes. And this is a design meeting.
Okay, fine. So when we get the contract, then we'll
Yeah.
sign that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is a design meeting.
Very comfortable with having Selectmen Murray go through that with plenty of experience.
Yeah, I think it's easier that way.
It's just
Okay,
that action item.
Action items, I don't have anything in here about Lisa Beveridge.
No, it's just giving her permission.
Right, so Lisa Beveridge wants to do another Ice Fest on February 4th. Is there ice enough out there?
They say there's 46 inches.
There
out
were a lot of
There are Bob houses out there all weekend.
pop-up Bob houses all over the place.
All right, the condition for the Ice Fest has always been that you provide
Yes,
a certificate of insurance and that she paid for the police detail.
yep, and they've already signed, so Adam, Jack, and Andy have all signed the sheet approving her to,
Okay,
on their end.
and,
Her certificate I have in my emails.
okay. And if she needs to provide police presence there, so that has to be a detail.
Okay.
Did she talk to the chief about that?
I'm not sure.
And we have alcoholic beverages. Anything that,
There's alcoholic beverages on town property. Do we have to waive
it's actually not on town property.
No.
because it's on the lake?
It's accessed by town property.
Okay,
Right,
all right.
but that's no different than driving down the road on a town road, is it? Just because it's accessed by town property, that's not a big thing.
Do we have to make sure that the alcohol stays on the ice? People are gonna be in the parking area
Right.
with
That should be up
beers.
to the police detail.
That's-
Right.
Yeah, but we have an
Police
ordinance,
detail.
we have an ordinance against alcohol on town property. Do we need to waive that for this instance?
No. It's meant to be served on the ice. If it's on the town
Yeah,
property,
it
then
needs to stay on the ice. I mean,
I'm asking,
we've got until February 4th to figure out if we want to waive something, but I think we're better off mandating police presence and let the police make the call.
right.
I mean, we don't have to be down there.
This isn't a new event. It's happened successfully.
yeah, no, I don't have a problem with it. I'm just asking the
Yeah.
question.
And I don't know,
I might be down there.
I've not heard a complaint about beer leaving the lake and wandering around
Okay.
since I've been here. And maybe there's nobody wants to complain, but maybe there's nothing happened. And from my point of view, not having been there,
Mhm.
nothing happened, because nothing got brought forward to us.
Right.
And I don't believe there's been any arrests there.
No, I support the event.
Yeah.
I'd make a
No, but I
motion.
mean, if there had been some bad behavior, we would have heard about it
Mhm.
Oh,
in
yeah,
past years,
definitely.
and we haven't heard about it.
Do you need a motion?
Yeah,
Cammie's
I
bobbing her
guess.
head up and down.
Yeah.
Am I bobbing my head?
No, I am.
Cammie's bobbing her head up and down. She says yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll make a motion that we, permit Lisa Beveridge to have her Ice Fest, subject to the condition of insurance, provided and, police detail paid for by her.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. All right,
Interesting last name.
Right?
We have a beverage event, right?
okay, we got a letter from Norwich Solar, which once again confirmed that, they don't wanna do our little solar array, even though they called to see if we were still wanting them to put in a proposal. The, Jeff Newcomb wrote a letter about Shirley Way. If Jeff feels as though we need, his suggestion is that we do no major roads for a year or two and do all the neighborhood roads and get them all done.
I had a similar, although not same, but similar suggestion. And I was voted down.
Yeah. I mean, we're responsible for all the roads.
Yes, we are.
You know, all you have to do is drive on Sodom Road or Ledge Hill Road or
Yeah.
any of these major roads, and you'll see what kind of traffic there is every day.
I can appreciate and I'm thankful for his recommendation.
Yes.
This supports my position.
No, I thank you for his input. Any suggestions?
Board of Adjustment is given hearing on February 1st from Kimberly Carbone, Local Trust, and enclosing a patio. And then we've got a letter from Department of Public Works Director in Guilford about foam recycling. So I think we should just give this on to Chris at the transfer station.
He's coming in tonight, so I figured you could give it to him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good. Okay, then we get a letter from Tyler Phillips. And I had, in one of my snow days, looked up at my 1860 map of Carroll County and thought, I think I'm gonna go up there with a magnifying glass and look at 19 Mile Bay. And that's what I did. And lo and behold, there is a peninsula in the shape of a wharf stretching into the lake from 19 Mile Bay on this 1860 map.
Very similar to what we have down there.
Yeah, well, it's a little shorter.
Okay.
It doesn't have the dock at the end. The Attorney General, through letters or emails or whatever with Tyler Phillips, our engineer, has said that we need to pay a considerable amount of money to buy the property underneath the pier. And just for historical purposes, we know that that 1860 map was made in 1860. So the existence of that pier, I think, is established by that map, and also by town records. The state did not own, and I don't think the Attorney General that he's talking about understands this, did not own the bed of the lake until the mid-1960s when they bought it from the woolen mill, I think it was, in Laconia, who owned the lake rights to power their mill. So it wasn't until that point in time, and DES didn't even exist then. It was water supply and pollution control, which was primarily for septic system designs, etc. At any rate, so their position is that we need a grant and right to establish our ownership of land under the wharf, and we need to pay them a significant amount of money for that right. So I think it's degenerating from our collegial agreement with Rennie Pelletier to now this. So I'm thinking we really need to put the AG on notice of our collective feeling that we've always owned it. We built it, we own it, we've maintained it. And when the state purchased the lake rights, it's their obligation to prove that they own it, not our obligation. They are obligated to say that pier did not exist prior to the state owning it. And if they can establish that, or if they can provide a map of that purchase, which they should have, but probably don't have, or a boundary line description by an engineer, then we can have a discussion, and maybe this discussion ends up in court, but I think it should be apparent to them that they don't have a case. And it would have, I would not have done anything as far as conversations with Tyler if it were $1 that they were looking for, and we could get the grant right and get it through and get, why stir up a hornet's nest? But when the term significant started entering into the conversation, it seemed like we needed to play a little harder.
That sounds very reasonable.
So,
We have a documented record of money spent
we do-
repairing, maintaining. Like, I mean, I've read them in town reports for years, and you have the map showing that.
Well, we supplied them with all of the material,
Yeah.
historical material that we have.
Right,
I'm sure we could find some more about money spent and also the effort to construct the wharf and
Mhm.
historical records.
Yeah. I
What
don't,
are,
I'll get it.
so
But what is significant? We don't have a number yet, right?
anything more than $1, I find that.
You're gonna call it, all right?
You can decide. I think we need to know.
Yes,
So
that's
I
right.
think what I'm gonna do is, if you guys wanna let me, I think the board needs to let this Attorney General know exactly where we stand. And that we did provide evidence of the ownership of the
Mhm.
pier and the construction of the pier and the maintenance of the pier that stretches back a long time. And that they have not provided us any information as to their ownership of the lake bed underneath the pier. So they need to do that, and when he says significant, we need to know what significant means in his mind.
Do you need a motion or just,
No, I think we can do it by agreement, we don't need to.
Yeah, I see no problem with
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
It's sort of, you're gonna talk to the telephone people, I'm gonna talk to this guy, so
Sure.
it's the same idea.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah, because we're gonna go back to the town again for monies. And we still may not be able to do it if they continue in this vein.
Right.
And if they add 100,000 or 500,000 or whatever they add to it. One position I was considering, but I'll bring it to you guys before I do it, is rather than paying anything, put a condition on it. Say, okay, here's your grant and rate, do what you need to do, but if you ever sell this out of the public domain, I don't care what he puts on, $10 million penalty, put a number on it, that would dissuade any future board from saying, you know, here we've got a town asset, like we had a piece of land on Sandy Mill Road. You know, let's sell it to this guy that wants to give us $5 million and that'll pay for this year's budget.
Or get the state first right of refusal.
I don't think we want to get into that. We
Yeah,
went into
I think
that
that's-
just recently, and that complicates matters extremely.
Yeah, then you get into the purpose of it.
Yeah.
I mean, if the purpose is to dissuade the town from ever selling it, but if the purpose is to get the state to buy it, then we're back to the same place we were, you know, where they think they own it.
No, but if you give them first right of refusal, it gives them the incentive to give us the writ, knowing that they're next in line to take it, the right, not the writ.
That, okay, I think the only way that would work is if we did establish that we own it. We
Right.
would need a grant right at
We've
that
got to do
point.
that before we do anything.
Okay,
So if we don't need the grant and right, then we could talk about that.
okay,
Yeah.
all right.
We'll see how it goes.
Proceed.
All right,
Look what we've got here.
Ms. Hunter, you jumped the list, you're on next.
Okay.
We have no fire, we have no transfer station, we have no parks and rec.
Well, we still have all those things, they're not just not here.
Right.
Imagine that. Me, a single woman beyond retirement age, can make it through this storm. Okay, so I'll say right off, I didn't go to the public meeting because I didn't know there was a public meeting about the Pop Whalen Arena. If I had known, I probably wouldn't have gone because most of the time those are just a fight. But when I read in the Tufton Borough newsletter that you guys thought that the Pop Whalen Arena was no benefit to the town, it kind of made me more than just a little upset, because you three guys decided that this article was not going to be put on as a warrant article, and took my right to vote away. I'm pretty sure I have a constitutional right to vote on this, and I'm pretty sure you guys have taken that away from me.
No, we haven't.
You haven't? Oh, I can still vote on it, even though it's not a
If you provide
warrant
us with
article?
a petition warrant article, it will go on. A warrant article with 3 no votes is a non-article. It wouldn't go on the warrant anyway. DRA wouldn't allow it. So whether or not you have a constitutional right to vote or not, if the 3 selectmen decide that they're not in favor of that warrant article no longer exists.
Right, but the reason why you found that article you decided that article was not favorable to you because it was not a benefit to the town. So let me ask you this. Do you think that Nick is a benefit to the town of Tuftonboro? No, imagine that. Do you think the Tuftonboro ball field is a benefit to the town of Tuftonboro?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
So
So it only has to be in Tuftonboro,
Okay, let's go further than that, Mary.
okay?
You want us to spend your tax dollars, everybody else's tax dollars,
No.
on a physical project outside of the town of Tuftonboro.
No, I didn't say that.
What did you say?
I said that you took away my right to vote on whether or not the town was going to do it.
That's a distinction without a difference.
And the
Your
reason you gave
position-
me was that you didn't think it was a benefit.
Your position, well, that was whoever wrote the article in the Times. Your position is that you want to vote to spend public funds outside of the boundaries of Tuftonboro. Is that, I mean, what else is there in your position?
Well, 35 years ago, I got up at a town meeting and asked the town to do just that, and they voted for it. I have no reason whatsoever to believe that this is going to be voted in favor by the people of this town. However, I think we deserve a right to vote on it.
Then put together a petition warrant article and it will go on the warrant, but
Okay, so how do I put together a petition
you
warrant?
get 25 people together with a warrant article for the request.
But wasn't that already done?
I have no idea. It was never presented to us.
I've never seen it, anything like that.
You know, there may have been a list of names, but there was no warrant article language with it. So you
No,
have to
no
create a
petition.
warrant
Okay.
article.
So what's the cutoff date?
February, what's the hearing? Look it up. It's on the calendar.
Yeah, that one's got more stuff written on it, but I can't read it.
January. This isn't good up here.
I don't-
I don't know if we have that,
I'm looking.
list of events that goes on. One is the budget approved, another one articles approved. We have a budget hearing coming up the first part of February, I think it's the first week of February. And it would have to be on that war. We explained all of this to the people who came here. We explained all of this to the people who came to the public meeting. It's not our job to create a petition warrant article.
Okay, I
We
didn't
also
realize that
said-
they hadn't done a
Well, no,
warrant
and
article.
And if they had presented a petition warrant article, we couldn't keep it off the ballot.
Okay,
We have no authority to keep those off the ballot.
all right, well, I didn't know that they hadn't done warrant article
Right.
petition.
And our advice was to get it done early so that you could present it to DRA so that the language didn't trip it up. In other words, people will present petition warrant articles 2 hours before the budget hearing, at which point there's no time at all to fix the language. And then DRA looks at it, Department of Revenue Administration, and says this doesn't pass muster for whatever governmental reasons, money reasons.
Yeah, oddly enough, at the public hearing, I encouraged a fellow by the name of Antonucci to do just that, create a petition warrant
A
article.
young man named Antonucci?
No, a fellow, not a young man,
No,
an older man. And I encouraged him to do it soon,
Bill, yeah.
but apparently, I don't know.
Maybe in the works, we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on with that.
So we weren't,
Our reasoning is real basic.
and perhaps the wording of the, what you wrote
The thing in the September Times was not favorable to you guys as far as I'm concerned. It
Well,
was not
people are
well
gonna-
written.
people are gonna disagree, but the point we were,
I wrote the article and I don't remember mentioning it.
It says,
What does it say? I'd like to hear that again.
which Tuftville Times was it?
Yeah. Oh,
this one
sure.
we just got.
Yeah.
No benefit was to be found.
What's the,
Can you put it a little broader?
right, who's signed, who's it?
Who signed it? William Albee,
Okay.
Guy Pike, and
Yep.
Bob Murray.
Okay, good. Yes, what we found, truly, and what I think, and I'll let my other folks speak on that,
It
is
should be
spending
in that.
$250,000 of taxpayers' money on an out-of-town facility doesn't sit right. And then, as we went on, we pay almost $17,000 a year for our people to get residential prices on their activities that they do through Wolfboro Parks and Rec.
Right,
Now, we know that the Wolfboro Parks and Rec Department did not request any money from us at all.
I get
Okay.
that, but
This
the-
was, all right, I'm not done
Yeah.
yet, Mary. And what we thought to gain out of this, or what we would gain, would be the same use of the facilities that we have always had and still pay the $16,000 plus.
Yeah.
That we saw no particular benefit
So there's a stretch
to
there.
it.
except for the fact that the facilities wouldn't be finished.
Well, they
Yes,
should have thought of that before they.
and the other thing is they
Before they
didn't
built it.
have the
Are you
finance.
kidding? Are you kidding?
No,
Are you
no.
absolutely kidding,
They
Bob?
they should have.
That's the
had-
most ridiculous statement. How much a year ago did you pay for a 12-foot piece of lumber?
Well, it depends on the size of it, but
I know. So say
A lot.
a year ago you paid $12.
Yes.
How much you paying now?
probably 16 or 18.
Why would you build a project without having your money lined up ahead of time?
They did have their money lined up. They had all their money lined up. But between December of 2021, when they lined up their money, and August of 2022, when they were still working on building it, the prices had gone sky high. That's why they need more money.
I don't remember them talking about that
No.
during the meeting.
Yeah, the prices of everything
Well,
went
we
up.
know that,
They're,
we know that,
they're-
because we have $1,700,000 in round figures, all set to go for a police station, and it's not enough money. Is there a police station being built currently? No, because we wait until we have all the money we need to do it. So we're gonna reduce the size and make some adjustments to try to fit within that 1.7 million. None of this lack of funding because of construction costs or any of that came up at the meeting with, and Wolfboro was there. What's her name? Roger Murray's wife was there, as
Yeah.
well as a representative from,
The Friends
uh,
of Buckwell.
yeah, Friends, but
Victor
there's their accountant was there as
Yep,
well.
yep,
from
yep.
Down the street,
And
They never mentioned what you just said.
not a word.
yeah.
and they never mentioned that 20% of the people that use the Pop Whalen are from Tuftonboro.
10%.
But,
He used-
just so
He
you
used-
know.
he used 10%.
They have an enterprise fund that operates that. So all that Tuftonboro is benefiting is not free ice time. It's Wolfboro rate ice time. That's it. So we're paying the same rate as Wolfboro for the use of the ice. And if it were, and in addition to that, we're paying $16,000 a year to Parks and Rec just to get that Wolfboro rate.
Right,
So-
because,
so I think-
because if you're from another town, you have to pay a lot
The
more.
full rate.
Right.
So what I think you're interpreting that as saying is we found no direct benefit, no return to our residents by donating $250,000.
Right.
We've already.
Oh, you weren't, oh,
Hold
you
on,
weren't saying.
I'm not done. We already, we bought our discount by paying them their 16,000 and change that we pay them every year. That is the benefit, that's the benefit that their residents get. That $250,000, if we were to give them and dip our hands into every single resident's,
And we
pocket,
asked,
we get no direct benefit, we get nothing in
we
return for
asked
that.
as well, Mary, because I sat there and
Is it, cause the facility, did you go to the open house?
I did not.
Have you been there since it opened in January 3rd?
I haven't been there in 20 years.
I have been there. I didn't go to the open house, but I had been there. I was just there Saturdays and on Sunday. I was just there
Yeah.
yesterday.
And did you see how much isn't finished?
Yep, I did.
But Jesse, okay, two things.
Yeah,
First of all, Jack Widmer, who's treasurer of Tuftonboro, is also, I think, chairman of the school board.
right,
They approached the Governor Wentworth School District for $250,000. Two things. One, they were offering additional locker room spaces and some benefits. But more importantly, that translates to $37,000 in additional school tax to Tuftonboro for that $250,000 gift.
Right.
From the, and I don't know whether that gift's gonna happen or not, but that's double taxation. So we're getting taxed, if we were to give money to the Pop Whalen from Tuftonboro directly, and now we're giving an additional $37,000 from the school district, all of a sudden you're over $300,000 for a gift. The other thing that happened, that I asked, was they offered Brewster locker rooms, exclusive locker rooms for their $250,000 gift. I don't know whether that went anywhere. But when I mentioned that at the meeting, I said, okay, let's consider $250,000. What do we get? What does Tuftonboro get for that $250,000?
Crickets.
Nothing.
Get-
Nothing.
The
yeah,
same
get the
privileges
place
we've
be
always had.
finished.
The same place that, yeah, the same thing that we've always
Same
had.
thing we've always got. There's no additional benefit at all.
Right.
Right.
We still pay to use it at residential rates. They can offer us nothing.
Yeah, but what you guys pay is not just for the Pop Whalen.
No, it's for other things as well.
It's for everything in the Wolfboro Parks.
But that makes the distinction between the Friends of Popwell and Wolfboro Parks and Rec. Wolfboro Parks and Rec has not asked us for a nickel other than the 16,000 plus that we've been giving them traditionally for years. The Friends of Pop Whalen asked for a donation from the taxpayers of Tuftonboro, which we have explained why we chose not to make a warrant article.
And everybody, you know, we're not sitting here bad mouthing the Pop Whalen.
No,
But you're free to give. I'm free to give. Every resident in Tuftonboro is free to give to that project.
If you want to make a
But
donation,
I
make a
can't, we
donation.
can't as selectmen, in clear conscience, say, regardless of what you think, you're gonna pay a little more in taxes to support the Pop Whalen.
Well, first of all, I had no idea there wasn't a warrant article petition given to you. And I thought that had to happen before you even had the hearing.
No, we had an ask for a selectman generated warrant article. That didn't happen, that didn't pass. So the alternative is a petition warrant article. And you have from the 10th until the 17th of February in that window to get that in and get it approved. But regardless of if it goes to DRA for approval or not, we have to submit it with the warrant for a town meeting. Any petition warrant article, no matter where it comes from or what it says, has to be presented to the voters.
And if it's done by petition warrant article, you'll get your vote.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe, I can't believe that they didn't already.
They haven't
do
yet. They may have. They
Huh.
may have it in the works. And, who was there?
Talk to Bill, talk to the friends, see if they're putting
Talk to
it.
something
Bill.
It
together.
won't do any
I
good.
talked to Bill Rollins.
right? Bill and Jackie are
Or
at the meeting.
Jackie,
Um,
because they were there.
Right.
Or there were a couple other folks there, and it was, Chris, it was over a month ago.
I know, it was a long time ago. Those folks are the ones I knew right up front.
Yeah, and Jack, or Max Ledoux was there, and was the only time I
Right.
agreed with him.
And another fellow was there, supporting the position that spending the taxpayers' money out of town wasn't the right thing to do. But there were others, and again, I looked right at Mr. Antonucci and said, you need to do that right away, get it done.
Yeah. We also, I mean, I remember
Is
asking,
it he?
I remember asking for a position, not for me personally, but for someone from Tuftonboro to be on the board of directors.
Right.
Have some input. I mean, when we were kids, Mary, that ski area before the ice rink was built was Wolfboro Tuftonboro ski area, and that's how Hersey had left it,
Mhm.
and it was free. And somehow, over the course of the next 40 years, it became a for-profit business owned by Wolfboro in the form of a enterprise fund. And yeah, the skiing's better, there's more trails, there's snowmaking, there's all kinds of good stuff that happened from that. But we were never asked to the table. Nobody from Tuftonboro ever was on that board of directors. And now we've got financial statements from the Pop Whalen, and I'm
Right.
reading them, and I'm thinking, you know, at some point in time, if you're gonna generate all this revenue and have all these expenses, make all these public decisions, and you're asking us for $250,000, don't you think we ought to have a seat at the table? And that
Well,
was answered
the
with
thing
silence.
was, is that the Pop Whalen was built by Back Bay Hockey. It was never built by the town.
Well, they still owe money on it, so.
And it was not, so then after 10 years of having the Pop Whalen Arena, Back Bay Hockey said, here, we're using town electricity and all of that stuff. Town people are running it, take it. Because, you know, we don't wanna get into a hassle with the back and forth here of who's in charge of it. You know, it was becoming a problem. So, you know, we essentially raised all the money, built it, ran it for a number of years, and then said, okay, here, town, take it. And that's how it became part of Abenaki. Look, the fire is here.
Fire's here with his broken ribs. Yeah, so.
So I actually had no idea that they hadn't submitted a warrant
Well, you can
article.
come and yell at us if we do something wrong. We haven't done anything wrong yet.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right, you know what's going on?
And between now and I think the 5th of February is sign up. So if you want to run for selectman,
Please.
God bless you, put your name in the hat.
Yeah, no, I stay out of politics.
Really?
Yeah, here you
Yeah.
are.
And yet here you are demanding your constitutional rights.
No, I do. I mean, this isn't being involved in politics. I'm not asking for, you know, a seat in the government.
But you have one.
Yeah.
You are
I-
the elector?
At the town meeting, you
Yeah.
are our legislative body. You're the Congress.
Yeah,
So come and vote.
welcome to vote. But anyway, I didn't like the way this was written.
I'm sorry if I hurt your sensitive feelings, okay?
A lot of people worked a lot of years for that Pop Whalen Arena.
I
And
understand
to
that.
say that it's no benefit to the town is kind of a slap in the face.
Show us a benefit, that's all I ask.
Yeah, you see the benefit when you see kids get saved from, you know, having something to do rather than being bored and getting into trouble.
Which we've been supporting right along, and we will continue to do so
Yeah,
with money. Thank you, though. And light a fire under those people.
Yeah, get us a petition warrant article. We'll get it on there.
Do it.
okay.
All right?
All right, Chief Thompson. Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm thinking about staying out of government too.
We all are.
Oh, Lord.
Thank you.
All right, for 2023, 10 fire calls, 20 EMS, 7 service calls, total of 37. Gas furnace inspections 5, oil burn inspection 0, wood pellet stove 0, life safety 0 for 5. And we're right about the same as far as last year, a little bit behind as far as calls. Again, not a complete breakdown of calls, but we did 41 calls in 4 days between December 23rd and December 26th. 95% were fire incidents and 5% were EMS incidences. We did a CO call on January 12th, Governor Wentworth Highway, a code untimely death, Sandstorms Road, on the 14th at 4:38. And January 16th, 9:16 p.m., third alarm structure fire, 60 South Main Street. You can probably guess where that was. We sent engine 2, engine 4, utility 2 with a crew of 7. Engine 1 covered Central Station with a crew of 3, along with a sandwich fire department cover truck. All departments worked hard together to keep the fire from spreading to other exposures and to have no injuries. On stations, we have been unable to get a new blower assembly for the Mirror Lake Station furnace. This furnace is slated for replacement in 2023. In the budget, we had
It's in your operating budget.
yes, yes it is. We've had several issues with the furnace already. Incorrect special order blower assembly part was returned to the parts department by Ed Butler of Butler Heating. We are going to try to save approximately $1,000 and not replace the part until there is no choice, at which time then we replace the whole furnace if necessary.
So, let's just take a look for a second at your summer budget. Because there's no reason to wait until after the town meeting. I'm trying to think of where, here it is.
Our government buildings are pretty close as far as that goes.
So, you got Melvin Village, is that where it is?
It's at Mirror Lake.
Mirror Lake.
I'm sorry, Mirror Lake?
Yeah.
So you got $3,100 no matter what
Okay.
in that maintenance budget
Okay.
for heat. And we can look through these. This is on the,
I know that I have money left in the fire budget as far
it's not a
as.
matter of last year's money.
Yeah.
It's a matter of the budget going forward
Yeah,
is gonna be more than this current year's or
right.
22's budget, but even if they reject the budget, it's gonna have to be at 22 levels.
Right.
So you still have that amount of money to spend rather than let pipes freeze.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the replacement was 6,500. So,
Yeah, but that'll go into 2023.
yes.
Right,
Yeah.
okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no issues. The light bills have been coming in slightly over what we had budgeted already in 2023. Like the central station was like $10 more, which wasn't too bad, but I'm hoping that'll level itself out
Mhm.
as we go through the year as far as it goes. Budgets, we kept them pretty close as far as the government buildings and stuff. The new storage shed is in place at Central Station. It will be housing the equipment and supplies that will not have to be carried up to upstairs. The storage shed will not only give more room for cold storage, but it will also save on lifting injuries and going up and down the stairs. And just last note, the department's ambulance has transported 4 times year, so.
So you haven't given us a counting on the ambulance for a while.
Okay, I can do that.
Let's get that to us.
Yep.
You can look at the revenue streams to this plan and
Okay. Very good. We have, just a heads up as far as, the guardrails up on, Ledge Hill Road. We had a vehicle that went over them, just before Dame Road, as far as it goes, and get wedged down
This
in
morning,
there
right?
this morning.
Yeah, I saw that.
Just a heads up, they're probably damaged. It's hard to tell as far as.
That isn't the first time it's happened in recent years.
No.
That's-
And
They've been damaged for quite
Yeah,
a while.
they're
Yeah,
also the old style that actually taper down right to the ground.
Yeah.
Which is highly not recommended anymore by the state of New Hampshire, for example. And it's really easy for something to ride up on those and flip over.
Yeah.
We need to have some definite talks about guardrails all around town.
and I did see one of those in my travels in Maine. I did see one of the signs that you were talking about, and it was highly noticeable as far as it goes.
Yeah.
If that's something that you would like me to look into and follow up on, I'd be more than glad to
Well,
look
we've
at that.
got, this is on the stop sign?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have something that came through. I don't know who brought that in or who sent it in.
It was at the last meeting, we had a document about it.
Yeah.
It
I was
came
talking,
through
I
an
was
email.
suggesting that if the sign actually belongs to the state, it's actually at the intersection, our warning sign farther back down the road
Right.
could be eliminated or lit or
Right.
something, if nothing else. We could do that with no state
I
approval.
mean, they're solar.
Yep.
And,
It seems like you can move signs without state approval on 171. So,
I'm not saying that it can't be done,
yeah.
I'm not saying that it's legal or
It doesn't
ethical,
seem as
please.
though- Doesn't seem as though they have anything to say about it.
But,
Right.
yeah, no, I think they're,
and it's not the whole, it's just an attachment that goes around the
Right.
sign.
it's not a big deal.
But you have to power it, so you have to.
Yeah, solar.
Solar.
It's all solar.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're about, last time I looked, they were just over $1,000.
Definitely something to be thinking about going forward.
Yeah.
Thanks,
All right, thank you.
and be careful out there. You've done pretty well,
Yeah, good work on the,
and hiding the pain.
big fire in Wolfboro.
Yeah. Oh,
Well, that was a group effort.
I'm amazed
No, no.
that the buildings right behind it
Yes.
didn't get damaged.
Yeah. Or the propane tanks.
Or
the-
any of that was
Anything.
there. Yeah, very good.
Good.
Have a wonderful evening.
Thanks,
Thank you,
Chief.
Chief.
Okay. We're not gonna see transfer station?
No, you are gonna see transfer station, you're not gonna see Parks and Rec.
Okay.
But Chris thinks he's in at 5, so
Yeah, he could walk.
he could.
I wouldn't, but he could.
Take a 2-minute recess?
Sure. Let's take a recess.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we've gone through the action items, signature file.
Yep.
Correspondence, selectmen's updates. I, as you remember from the budget meeting, had a no confidence vote in the select board in regard to the paving budget for whatever reason they'd come up with. And so what I did was the paving and the solar, I put 2 packages together or 4 copies of 2 packages, 1 in solar and 1 paving, describing the process or giving the information for how we came up with what roads to pave. So a copy of the paving study, the culvert study, and with regard to the solar, I gave them the 4 proposals that we've received, or the three full proposals, now an email on a 4th one. And included in that is the breakdown of return on investment and all of the other accounting that one proposer gave us. You need to hold a copy of are there any of those left, or did anybody pick any of them up?
Nobody picked any of them up when I was here.
Okay, so Rob said that he'd be in tomorrow to pick one up,
Okay.
so we'll hold one up for him.
Yep.
Then Cammy mentioned, did you get a hold of Atoya Kubadu?
I did.
And is she gonna provide you with some?
She is.
Okay, so we've got some photographs coming in for the cover of the town report. We need to, at some point in time, if we're gonna dedicate the report, we need to put that dedication together, so if you have some idea.
It's funny, I thought about that, just yesterday, if we were gonna be dedicating it, and, I have a recommendation if, do we wanna do this in public?
Yeah, we do it in public, or, I think, don't we?
The recommendation?
Well, whoever we dedicate it to, should we dedicate it to, will become public knowledge in very short order.
Right.
I guess if there's discussion about who, and I don't know how.
This is the first time I've ever heard it coming up.
If there's discussion, we need to go into non-public, because then that's reputation.
Yeah, well, I think we need to go
Okay,
into non-public then.
all right. Well, do you wanna do that today?
Why not?
Did you had someone in mind as well?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that we go into non-public 91A, :3, Roman numeral 2, what was the word I just used?
Reputation.
Reputation, sorry. All be yes.
Murray, yes.
Pike, yes. Christmas is coming.
Okay.
Would, you wanna go back into non-public, or do you wanna continue with selectmen's updates?
Let's just do, does Chris want a non-public?
No?
No.
Okay,
There's one listed here.
Yeah, that's, we just did it.
Okay.
So, sure.
As we know, we all three attended the budget committee meeting. They're very, very astute at what they do this time around, very particular. Great. I went down and looked at the no parking, or the parking issues that could occur at the Mirror Lake Post Office. The lady had sent us a letter about
All
the
right.
parking on the side of the road. Much like parking at 109A by the store, this is the first time this has come up. I can see how it could be an issue. But certainly, at this time, right now, is not the time to be putting up no parking signs. Possibly in the spring, but it's another one of those things where if a person is, what do I want to call it, has any level of situational awareness, they should be able to safely cross the road at that point in time, cars or otherwise.
And
I'm
they're
not saying
crossing-
that everyone does have.
They're crossing the road for what, because they're parked on the other side?
Right, they can't park in the parking lot, it's just a tiny little post office with like 3 spaces. So they park on either side of the road. Neither of which is good, but I think,
Well, maybe the time to take that up is when we,
get out
we're
there.
talking about half of
Right.
Tuftonboro Neck,
Exactly,
does
that
that
would be-
become part of that project?
So after town meeting, if the paving budget's approved, which I'm sure it will be, then we can, in the course of rebuilding, possibly add one side of the road, I think would be adequate. But we'll see. I also went down to the beach and looked around before we had big snow, concerning the placement of a stone in the memory of Jerry Conroy. I wasn't able to get anybody that knows right where they want it to go with me, but there seems to be the general area that one lady spoke of would work. It won't be set till spring. She'll be back from Florida, and I believe we'll be able to come to a pretty good idea where it wants to be, and I don't think it's gonna be an issue, but obviously Dennis will be involved, Parks and Rec. But it's a really nice thing to put up something in memoriam of a well-respected person. I don't see a problem with it at this point.
So we have a, somebody needs to talk to Fran Lassie,
Okay?
because he's a real stickler on that permit that we have from,
Right.
on the beach.
I'd be more than happy to do that.
Okay,
I have a very good working relationship with Mr. Lassie.
right.
I said it at the last meeting, I'll say it again, I don't wanna be a stick in the mud. And I think this is a great idea, but I'm just concerned about setting precedent. How many more of these are we gonna be doing throughout the years? What's to prevent anybody else from coming and asking to do the same thing?
Nothing.
Nothing, I know.
Just as there is nothing to prevent our next Board of Selectmen from denying that approval.
I don't wanna deny it, but I'm just concerned about
I'm not talking about the
the
current
future.
proposal.
Mhm.
You got it. That would be up to a Board of Selectmen in the future to decide whether anybody else could put something somewhere, anywhere in town.
Yeah, we need to look where it is when
We will.
that's done, and then we can vote on it. Make sure we're happy with
So that's what I've
the
done.
results. How about you, Bob? You been doing anything?
Yeah, I had a planning board meeting the other day, Thursday. D&IL Realty in Melton Village had a boundary line adjustment. Ridgefield Corner subdivision had a boundary line adjustment. And then there was another company that came in for a proposed subdivision. That was just a consultation. The boundary line adjustments were granted. Much more work to be done on the proposed subdivision. That's about it.
And is that the subdivision off of Sandy Knoll Road? So I guess we're gonna have to vote on that?
At some point. It's nowhere near ready for that yet.
No, we need to make a position, or take a position, as it were. Historically, subdivisions on Class 6 roads are not allowed. Building permits for property on Class 6 roads is allowed. But then the person takes the onus of repair and insurance and all the rest of it on that Class 6 road. I'm not prepared to vote positively on a subdivision that requires use of the Class 6 road.
Yeah, this wasn't heading in that direction.
Yeah,
It was more concerned about establishing frontage to make the lot a buildable lot, not about actual use of the road.
Okay.
yeah, because when you talk about subdivision, my mind always goes to a housing subdivision, but you can subdivide property without putting any houses on it. And this one is not a multi-unit subdivision that you're talking
It is
about?
not a multi-unit
Okay.
subdivision. It is strictly, I can talk about this publicly, right?
Yes, and the public forum.
Yeah, and the planning board meeting was a public forum, so, what they wanna do is subdivide the lot that is, the house is being built on right now, and that leaves a bigger lot behind the house next door. Okay, so having, the house that's being built already has permission to use the Class 6 road for a driveway. That's
Right.
already been established.
Right.
That's not part of the equation. The biggest problem is making that bigger lot behind the existing house a conforming lot to be usable. So we suggested that they go back to the drawing board and establish 150 feet of frontage on 109A,
Yeah.
rather than trying to establish frontage on Sandy Knoll Road to be
Right.
counted.
Yeah, because that's not gonna happen.
Right. So.
You know, if that could happen, I would have kept the mountain and made lots more money.
Yeah.
Because I had 1,500 feet on a Class 6 road. But it's creating a lot on a Class 6 road shouldn't happen. They
Right.
should have frontage on it.
Now, I don't have it with me tonight, but I do have an example of the town of New Durham who set rules, who set policy for building on Class 6 road, which was taken right out of the RSA's and adjusted to fit, the town of New Durham, and I think we should take a look at that and use that as a model
I'm sorry.
for ours.
Don't you usually wear pants over your long back?
I do, yeah.
The camouflage, can't even see them.
Right?
Okay. sorry, but.
So anyways.
Yeah,
Yep.
let's.
We should come up with a policy and then I'd like to show the,
We do have a policy. Yeah,
Okay.
right out of the RSA's.
Yeah, let's, maybe we
We'll
should
work
have
on
our,
that some more.
our planning board chairman, and before he comes in, we'll take a look at that, and we'll have a general discussion on
Mhm.
policies and purposes. You're up there, Mr. Holiday.
Annual gas testing is done. We passed. I will send them around the room. Oops, sorry.
That's all right, I get it. Yeah, that's nice. Very good.
Oh, good.
Good.
So this, so you don't have an annual total, you have a month by month, okay?
Annual,
You didn't add it all up.
the avoided cost total,
I mean, I can add it up.
I did add it up, I don't
I did have a
know
lot
if
of
it's
page.
there. I wanted to say it was, like 92,000,
Yeah.
something like that.
I'll
And I
add it.
think they,
And then we'll get a copy of this off to,
oh, and I'll bring it in, I get it to Wednesday, next week, next Wednesday,
Tuesday.
next Tuesday. And I can give it the total, income for
Right.
the year, which was, I want to say it was 180, it was either 108 or 111, it was about
All right.
15,000 more than last year, something like that. It was a pretty good amount. And the only other thing I had was, the put into that grant, the, rotor for, New Hampshire, the beautiful.
And when are they awarding the grant?
Well, it was, I haven't been told when it would come through, usually they come through
Okay.
usually they notify in March, and the average award is somewhere between 5 and 15,000, so,
Okay.
um,
So my thinking is, you need to be there on Tuesday to defend your warrant article.
yeah,
Secondly, I think we may need to more broadly word it to, not be specifically for a wheel loader, because it's a capital reserve account, we're not asking for the whole purchase price. If you get a grant, we're gonna put the money into the capital reserve as well. So, it just didn't, and I don't know if we told you this or not, maybe I'm telling you this for the first time. It was our decision not to get the loader this year, but to get a capital reserve started so we could get it. But the pushback that we were getting from the budget committee is everybody's an expert. And, you know, a wheel loader won't work, or a wheel loader's not a good position to be in, or it shouldn't be pulling container. Any number of reasons why. So I think what we need to do for this capital reserve that we're establishing is to change the wording to replacement of the current backhoe, or however we come up with, to be a little more broadly written. So if some better solution comes out of the woodwork, we're not stuck with a warrant article that we can't use.
Can you be clear? Are you gonna replace the backhoe or add a piece of equipment to the backhoe?
My intention was to add a piece of equipment that we could utilize in the event that we need to move a container. That's secondary, because those containers are 10 tons.
Right.
And the machine that we have is just, if you watch those try to move them, it's very difficult. The wheel loader would be plenty powerful enough to move it. My position on the wheel loader is, one, it's a bigger piece of equipment. It's more capable of using the pusher that we have,
For the snow removal.
plow the snow,
Right.
and put together I thought it was a well thought out argument for the snow removal up there, which I presented to the CIP, which I'll bring to the budget committee. And that was my main focus was snow removal. However, we can use it for pushing back the brush pile. We can use it for any number of things.
Right.
And I also was, that's what I told Adam, it would be available for, town emergencies for his, he's the town, emergency management director. He's got that, emergency like we had during the storm when South Road, he could call, we need to use the loader to move trees out of the road.
The town doesn't currently own a front end loader.
The town doesn't own one. If we had one at the transfer station, clearly the town would own one. But Jim doesn't have one. He doesn't have any equipment that he can push back the snow bands. And when it comes time to push back the snow bands, I think they come down here with a bobcat.
Yeah, he has his own, he has his own equipment that he does that with,
Yeah.
contracts it, yeah.
But
All right, so we
I'm
can
not-
leave the wheel loader language in there, if that's the perfect piece of equipment.
Yeah, and I'm not slating Jim, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to bash him, I'm just saying that piece of equipment is a value to the town, and I've tried to put that in my wording, both at the CIP and which I'll tell the budget committee, that I can save the town man hours and put the town plow back on the road where they should be plowing roads and get them out of the transfer station, for about 500 hours a winter.
Well,
All right.
it'd take a lot of man hours to make up $178,000, but I see your point.
Well, I've got them written down.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so we'll leave it alone, you'll be there Tuesday, we'll
Yep.
defend that particular item. We also got, what did I do with it? Correspondence.
All right.
That's it right there.
Guilford DPW about, Department of Public Works about recycling, foam, packaging foam. So read through it, see if there's anything, I don't know if there, I didn't read it, so I can't advise you what it is, but whether they're setting up a cooperative or whether or not they're just describing how you do it or where you can market it or whatever. So that's there. You mentioned to someone, and it may have been me, on the street one day, that somehow DES thinks they have skin in the game when it comes to a solar installation.
Yeah, do we want to talk about that offline, online, how do we want to? Well, I've done some research on two different things. What we talked about, one was the Snowmobile Club and their snack shack.
Right.
If we give them permission to put a snack shack on the property, it's a change of permit for the town, which is the facility permit is a change of use, because now we've given them permission to have a snack shack. So we would have to apply to DES for a permit change.
So the whole piece of property that the town owns is under this permit, or just the landfill?
The entire property is under DES permit, because it's the landfill closure permit. So it's under DES regulation.
Okay.
And that goes for solar array. So what I need to do is I need to point out DES and just at least get the ball rolling with them and say that this is something that we're looking into and we should try and get them on board with it just so that we can get them pointed in the right direction. I spoke to Dave Outline up from Sandtech, and he gave me all the RSAs and stuff for the landfill closure. And he said it wouldn't fly anyways if we went for the snack shack on town property. If we applied yes for that, for the snack shack, the Snowmobile Club portion, he said that he didn't think that the yes would approve that because there's no way that we could basically prove to them or, say that some of us wouldn't go up over the
Oh, I see.
mountains and do damage. We couldn't guarantee to the yes that we would be damaged to the landfill. So he said that probably wouldn't fly. The solar array that doesn't be an issue because it's not going to affect the closure. But he said that 80 years in some of those, we could try it, but it doesn't fly. So that's where that stands.
And I think it would, I don't know, but I think it doesn't help matters to do two changes to a DES permit
So,
simultaneously.
I mean, I'll apply yes and do it if you want, obviously, but
Yeah, I don't know if there's any, who's on the Conservation Commission?
I am,
Did they come to the conservation about any of the,
no,
because that would be,
it's
I'm
very,
not suggesting that they should be allowed to, but that would be a lot easier place to look than the transfer station property.
I believe they chose their location, or their proposed location, what they thought was the best spot to put it. I'm talking about the snowmobile people. They haven't come to conservation, and I don't know, to be honest with you, where they want to put it, if you take away everything else, it's a great location for them, from their point of view, and mine, except for the fact that apparently DES does not want them putting a snack shack on top of a closed landfill. In any way, shape, form, or manner, or even close to it by the sound of it.
It's the close to, because it
Yes.
would never be on top of.
Right, well, I'm just saying, but that's the thing, and they don't want snowmobiles driving over our closed landfill either.
Right.
But that's not to say that they don't, because The power line kind of does its thing.
Well, it's fenced though, is it
Yeah.
not?
Well, it's got,
Mhm.
he has a pretty chintzy deer fence that runs down the property line. And I've looked at many landfill closures around the state, and 90% of them have a chain link fence that goes all the way around the landfill closure. We don't have that. And I don't know if that was just part of how they did their closure at the time. That was part of their closure plan, but I don't think that we should do that just to approve a Snapchat, because that would be a huge expense.
Yeah, it certainly would be a chain link fence all around that property, but it's a matter of is the property being invaded by ATVs and snow machines? I don't know that I've heard any.
I don't know of any evidence of either one.
We had one ATV go up over the mountain last winter, early in the winter, and we had a resident that handled it. The resident happened to be there and said,
Long distance shooting or?
no, he took care of it. He just said, hey, this is not kosher, don't shoot him. So,
And frankly, where they wanna put that snack shack, it is so inviting to take your snowmobile on a tour around those mounds.
oh,
It'd be so inviting, it'd be wonderful to ride a snowmobile on
Yeah,
those
the hill
mounds.
climb.
Yeah,
yeah.
so, I get it.
Yeah. I think a great place for it would be down by the power plant over on Mitchell Road. Either side of the road, it's right down the main trails.
Yeah, I don't know what the issues are from where it is currently. I don't know, but we haven't been included in that discussion at all. But I was just thinking if there was some other location outside the transfer station property that would work for them. Which would also be town property, but in conservation easement, I don't know what the structure of those easements are.
Pretty much, there's tiers in the easements.
Yeah,
Some of them, for example, the first tier in the Great Meadow would prohibit anybody, other than the fact that the power line company has to right away through there and things like that. In the second tier, which is farther back, it's possible that it could be permitted, but they would have to ask.
yeah.
Yeah, they definitely have to come to the Conservation Commission and say, hey, can we do this here?
And maybe it's a matter of us saying no, and that would drive them to ask. I mean,
Well, from what I'm hearing, their proposed location doesn't fit or the criteria that we would need. It actually goes against all the DES work and
Actually, forward you all the regulations and so that you can put in a letter, or I can put together a letter that would
yeah.
support your no.
And at some point, I don't think we ever voted to allow or disallow or not allow or
well, we said we were going to look
modify.
into it.
We said we'd look into it, and now we've started that look. I think it's, so get whatever you can to us.
It might not hurt to send a letter to DES, give it a, hypothesis, saying this is what we're thinking of doing. Would it be looked on favorably or negatively, and if negatively, why?
Okay, so let's just look at this politically for a second. First of all, I'm gonna be telling DES, no, they don't own the lake bed underneath Metropolitan. Now I'm gonna be telling them, maybe we'd like to build a snack shack. And in the
Okay.
spring, we're really looking for a 100 kilowatt solar array up there.
Yeah.
I mean, at some point in time, they're gonna say, we get to say no once. I'd like to- So I think if we, let's see what Chris comes up with.
Yeah. It might be just simply that he has enough documentation and we can tell the snowmobile club we just can't do it. That's all. That's
Yeah.
it. Or not, or maybe we find something we can, but I think your efforts are appreciated, and if you continue that, that's really
And
good.
if everything is included, I mean, there may be something on that lot that was a separate lot of record that just got included, maybe there was something there, but I don't know
Yeah,
either.
we have some time.
Yeah. All right,
Good.
so Richard
It's an offer.
D'Onofrio is now an official principal operator?
It's all certified, yeah.
Wow, that's pretty neat. Does he get a frameable thing?
That's it right here, it's
Or
in the
just
frame,
a
it's
photocopy?
in the frame up at the office.
Okay.
So
Do you have
he's
any-
on the
anybody
wall
else?
saying,
Anybody else going to training this year?
yeah, we're gonna, have, in some way, shape, or form, everybody go to, at least one day of the conference and get some training and, grab some more online training, and so everybody will get 10 or 12 hours of.
And you get rid of all your cardboard?
We did one truckload, but we're
Yeah.
working on a second truckload right now, so we did 67 plus tons last year.
So I didn't see any resistance at all, other than, well, I did, I'm sorry, to the compactor replacement. And I will, or you can, if in your spare time at home when you're not plowing, find out what waste management charges to lease a compactor. To answer that question, I'm not. I
Yeah,
mean, somebody else can bring up wanting to lease compactors, but I'm not gonna bring it up. So if you, for whatever reason, think that that capital equipment needs to be
yeah,
on a payment basis as opposed to purchase, it has a 20-year lifespan.
Yeah, no, I think it's fine the way it is.
yeah, I can call down to Atlantic and find out, okay, so I don't do waste management, I'll call them and check with them, but I don't think they do lease the equipment, I think they just,
So it's Atlantic that does.
yeah.
I don't know, we have a compactor at the nursing home that we lease. It's through our, we don't own it, it's part of the waste management program.
They actually lease.
It's a vertical compactor, not a long one like you have, horizontal.
So it's like our baler up there at the transfer station?
Yeah, kinda, it holds a regular, like a 10-yard dumpster. It's got a round bottom on it, and you open up the door, you throw your trash in, close the door, and it brings down the plate and just squishes everything.
Oh,
So you get quite a bit in there, but it's leased. And if it breaks down, I just make a phone call and
And is it our
Send it to
intention to
him.
keep the compactor that's currently there, or is the price you gave us at $36,000 a trade-in price?
that was, well, we had two different quotes, one was to trade that in, that number two compactor was unscheduled to be replaced.
Right.
And then the price was, we had one price to trade that one in and get a new one. And then the 36,570 was to put the new one down the line.
Right. Right. But if we were to trade that compactor in that we're taking out, does that bring the 36.5 down? To reduce the price?
No, that was a price for a new one to go in there with the trade in.
Okay, so that included the trade.
Plus,
Okay.
we had the other price, which was for the new one down below, but this is for the one number two.
Okay. So that was
We
the
had two
net,
prices.
the net price after trade-in was 36, whatever. Okay. Just some clear.
I noticed you moved the swap shop.
We did,
Is
yeah.
that gonna be its new home?
It is gonna be some
I like it.
Moved it?
Yeah, we did, we moved it down, it's not quite done, I mean, once the ground thaws and, we'll split it up, we'll level it, and we're gonna put some concrete, barriers in front of it, it's sinking the ground a little bit.
I like it, I think that's a much better location, just to the right of the scrap metal pile. facing the scrap metal pile, just to the right of it,
Oh,
where
so
the
it's
boat trailers
down
would,
there.
would go. Yeah.
It's down there, there's plenty of parking, it's safer.
Better for your traffic.
Oh, yeah, much better for the traffic.
And we've got, room down there for people to mill around without getting hit. We don't have to worry about cross traffic up front and little kids running around. And, I think it's worked out well.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
And they're all set with the move. We're not gonna have a troop of them coming in here.
Well, I can't guarantee you won't have a trip in here, but I did speak to a couple people and they were fine with it. So
Okay.
we went with it. And,
Good.
Anything else for Christopher?
I'm good.
Okay. You're free to go there, young man.
thank you very much.
And you'll be there on Tuesday?
Merci very much.
It's not tomorrow Tuesday, it's next Tuesday.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else? Thank
Just
you.
total this up for him so
Yeah.
that we can work on, you know.
I'll total that up, I'll total up my total income, I'll have both,
Great.
all my quotes, and anything else I need.
Okay.
You know.
All right. Good. Sounds good. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Do we have anything else?
Nope.
Oh, yeah, we do. So, the, feeling that I got, it's not really a feeling, it's an impression I got about the, warrant articles that were non-money,
Yeah.
so that would be OPQ. I think those have to go on the ballot. I'm not sure the budget committee is interested at all in working on
Is there any reason they shouldn't go on the ballot?
that.
Other than the opportunity to explain?
Yeah, that's.
Q is the one that bothers me the most.
I'm sorry, which one, Q?
Q, because that's the one, we would, well, actually, no, maybe it isn't. I'm sorry. Maybe it's equal. They're all equal.
All of these are gonna need an opportunity to
If we
explain.
don't explain it, I don't know how it's gonna go.
Well, it doesn't have to be written, if it's going on the ballot, I mean, you've seen the planning board pieces that have gone on the
Yes.
ballot. We can write a pretty extensive dissertation about, for instance, P.
Mhm.
So we're joining a group of towns for the purpose of creating, or discussing or whatever, broadband. Right? Is that why we're there?
Yeah,
And that's what it's called, I think, isn't it? Broadband community.
broadband district. It's an actual district, it's a municipal entity.
Okay, so that has been created, or it's being created.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we could flesh out Article P to be more explanatory.
Right.
We have, Article O may not exist at all, because if we can't come to some agreement about ownership,
Yeah.
and where are we going there? You got fish and game and trying to keep the boat launch open, so, and that leaves us with Q, and we really do need, and I think at some point in time, Phil and Andy are meeting. When is that? I think it's this week,
No, they were supposed to meet last week.
and they didn't.
I don't know if they ended up meeting or not. Andy sent an email to him saying that he may need to cancel, but I never heard if it got canceled or not.
All right, so this, we need to make this article, if we're gonna do it, a certainty as to what changes were made. Is it 25% smaller, or is it 30% smaller? Is it a multi-phase project?
Yeah, I think that's important to know.
Because that's not in this.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm okay with us getting our stuff together and writing these up the way it would be explanatory in a paper ballot.
Yeah. I mean, just
I don't know.
prior experience is seeing what's happened when when an article's put up that isn't really fleshed out much or is so confusing.
Yeah,
And if there's any doubt,
I mean,
I mean, we could really have a public hearing about these, but who would come?
a public hearing isn't gonna satisfy.
DRA.
No.
No, it's not gonna satisfy USDA,
Oh, right, that's true.
so we have to get that satisfaction out of the way.
I think
As
these
far as
need an
the,
explanation, and I think they should stay on the warrant. I understand what they're getting at about putting them on the ballot, but,
alright, so let's have the moderator and see what he comes up, because it's not their decision, it's the moderator's decision and ours. If we wanna leave them on the warrant to be discussed in public
mhm.
at the town meeting.
Isn't that what town meeting is all about? Isn't that the spirit of the town meeting?
Yeah, but I mean, SB 2 towns don't have a town meeting, so
Right.
they have bigger warrant articles that are more explanatory, I guess.
And traditionally, we have a bigger voter turnout for ballot than we do for town meeting.
Right, so
So,
we're not asking for any additional funding.
no.
So, you know, it's not like somebody's, I don't wanna vote for that, cause it's gonna cost us money.
Well, that wording should be in there too, if it isn't already.
What's
No,
that?
no additional funding needed, no additional funding needed, no additional funding needed.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in
Right,
the,
or in the case of Article P, no funding needed.
Well, whatever.
I know, but.
in Q, maybe describing the funding that's already been voted,
Mhm.
so people understand where the money's coming from. I think would be better. But we did say, and avoid inflationary pressure to raise additional money from taxes. Yeah.
When it says pursuant to Article A, it really has nothing to do with Article A at all. What it does, I think what it should say is similar to Article A, not pursuant to. Because this really doesn't, the only difference is, we're not asking for any more money. Other than that, it's a whole different ballgame. Article A,
Was-
we're asking to pull money out of the undesignated fund balance.
Where, I'm sorry, God, where are you seeing?
Article Q, the first
Right there,
few
pursuant.
words. I
Oh,
don't see how that relates to Article A at all. Article A, we want to pull
It doesn't.
money out of the undesignated fund balance.
right.
And this one, we want to take money we've already got, which isn't in the undesignated fund balance.
Right,
So that pursuant to Article A ought to go away, in my opinion.
yeah. And we need to verify the change in scope,
Right.
and we need to make it, or take a position about phased construction or not phased construction.
We already did that.
Yes, we did.
We did?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We voted to present, however we present the article, to include that it would be a phase, it
Okay.
should just be phase one.
Okay, so we need to put that in this article.
Right.
Okay,
I mean, the article would meet the needs, the true needs, and get us a functional police station, and the USDA's agreed to that.
and be designed to enable us to expand the police station
Right.
at some point in the future.
Elaborate on the
Necessary.
intent, not just what we're doing, but
Right.
elaborate on the
No,
intent.
this ain't the end.
Okay,
Yeah, good.
yeah, that's fine. All right, so, I know we danced around it. Do we wanna keep this on the warrant, or do we wanna put it on the ballot?
Unless somebody can convince me otherwise, I think it needs to stay on the warrant, because I think we need to, mano a mano, we need to talk to the people and
Okay,
explain what we're doing.
how about you, Guy?
I'd keep it on the warrant,
Okay,
let us
so,
tell them at town meeting.
so Tammy, Cammy, can you get, prisoner in here at some meeting soon?
Mhm.
And we meeting next Monday or not meeting next Monday?
Next Monday's the 4th,
We are not meeting next
we're
Monday.
not meeting per se.
Okay,
We meet the 6th.
Okay, so see if you can come in on the 6th,
Okay,
and we'll talk about this. And tell them this is what we're gonna talk about. That we're gonna wanna put non-monetary articles individually on the warrant. And the reason we want them on the warrant is for public discussion and debate. Just so he's not, we're not sandbagging him, we're
blindside me.
blindsiding him. All right, so then we'll just decide that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna eliminate, for the time being, when Cammie does the warrant again for Tuesday's meeting next week, I'm gonna have her eliminate these 3, so it doesn't cloud the discussion,
Good idea.
because it's not their, they're not money articles, they really,
They don't need to talk about it.
they don't need to debate. I love their input, but
It's not their decision to make.
it's not their decision. So did you hear that part, Cammie?
I did.
Okay, so maybe we can make a different document, which is the non-monetary articles O, P, and Q. And,
Well, don't you have to go through and decide what order you want them in anyway at the end, before you,
yeah,
okay.
yeah. So during the, but we're not meeting. So between now and the 6th, if we could all sort of individually brainstorm a better wording for those articles, and if there's any other wording that you think needs to be cleaned up in the monetary articles.
Sure.
And then on the 6th, part of our meeting will be to finalize the warrant, to vote on the dedication for the town report. And any other business that comes forward, I guess Jim Dean will have to come see us. Parks and Rec will have to come in.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds good. And I'll be in during this week to work on a couple of things anyway, because I need to get that DES.
Yeah, because Jane is going to want me to send her the articles for the 31st.
Right.
And Article P, is this what she sent you?
Mm-hmm.
She meeting.
The chairman of the,
I removed our name from I did exactly what she said to do and remove our name from the list of all the towns and put it in the first sentence.
yeah, I'm just surprised. She said that this is gonna be a carefully crafted warrant article, expressly written to make sure that all the wording was correct and to DRA, blah, blah, blah. And this is just like one sentence. So, all right.
I just highlighted it all, copied it,
Yeah,
took Tuftonboro out down here and put it up here.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. And I shared with, I'm not gonna drag this meeting out too much longer, but I did share with Bob, and I don't know that I did share with you the proposal for the solar system from Fergus Cullen, which was 100 kilowatt for 210,000. And from that, we could take the 30%. So it was significantly less than the 300,000 quote.
Yeah, that's too good to be true. This is,
I think you did send that to me. I'm pretty sure I have it in my saved mail, and I did skim it, and it did seem
Yeah,
quite a bit lower than everybody else.
right.
I believe the numbers, but it's just, it seems too good to be true.
Right, his usage numbers seem
it's-
pretty good, but,
Chinese panels,
All the
yeah.
panels are Chinese.
no,
No,
you can buy American made.
Absolutely,
And the co-op recommended that we do, if we do that.
yeah.
That we do.
That we
not.
do buy American-made panels.
Oh, yeah, we should,
Yeah,
if they're
absolutely.
available. I'm not
No.
saying,
But
All
not
we-
just because buying USA, but because they're a better panel.
Better quality, yeah.
they could be, but I don't know. I'm just getting to the point where I wanna have $300,000 so we can really sit down and have a serious
Flesh
discussion
this
about
thing
where
out.
we're
Yeah,
gonna go.
well, I'm planting the seed, American panels.
Okay. All
And a
right.
bug in your
I'm
ear.
good with that. I'm good with that.
Yeah.
All right, so it was shared with you.
Yeah.
That was all I wanted to do. I want to
did too.
stay at, even though that number is low, and maybe it's a good number, maybe it's not. But if it were a good number, I can't see reducing the amount we're asking to that level. I'd rather increase the amount we purchased.
Oh, buy more product for the same amount of money that we've already had, just like we're
Right.
doing. Okay.
Right, and then maybe we can set up an enterprise fund and start,
Generate revenue.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
Wouldn't be much, but it'd be something.
you never know.
Yeah.
But it also gives subsequent boards the ability to, maybe you put that money in the bank and just save it until you wanna put more in there, and, you know, come up with a business plan on how to create as much energy as you can, and then the cash spins through.
Well, we have to bank for inverters. There's a
Oh, batteries.
There's a 15-year recommended change for inverters, so
Yeah.
we have to plan on that.
Yeah, so all that stuff, you gotta get a business plan together on how you're gonna do it,
Yeah.
and then finance it. So part of the money you get back needs to be put aside for replacements or services. That's what you gotta do. All right, any other business before the board?
I have nothing.
Motion to adjourn?
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.